Welcome, everybody. Welcome to your Public Image Team's webinar on great events, how to promote great events. So a very important topic that I think everybody wants to learn more about. I think we've all thrown some great events in the past, but how do we promote them? How do we get the most out of them? We're going to learn about that from Kim Walden today. A couple of things we want to address first. R&D, everybody knows what R&D means, right? It means research and development, not in Rotary. R&D costs money. In Rotary, we specialize in rip off and duplicate. That means steal, swipe, purloin, whatever you want to say. Take the things that we produce or that your friends produce in Rotary and use them, modify them, make them work for whatever you're doing. If you have anything that you want to share, or if there's anything that we can share with you, this is a great place to talk about it. Another great place to find ideas like that or share ideas like that would be on our next slide. ElevateRotary.org. This is a website we designed exclusively for all of your public image needs. It was put together by your dedicated PI team, and you can find a lot of different information there, tools, tricks, techniques, links, all the things you need, plus information about each of us on the public image team if you need to reach out and connect with us. So please go to ElevateRotary.org, bookmark it, and then maybe later you can spend some time on there seeing all the things that we've put together. But enough of that for now. I want to turn it over to Kim, who is going to talk to us about promoting great events.
Thanks, Michael. Appreciate it. So Sean and I are going to talk to you today about great events. And obviously, we know that no two events are ever the same. But we wanted to make sure and share some of the best practices. And we used World Polio Day in Naples as part of our practice template for you guys tonight. So hopefully you'll get some great ideas from this that will help you to create a very good event. And, you know, of course, the first step in a good event is to make sure that you build it. So on that next slide, it talks a lot about planning your goal, making sure that you know what is it that I'm trying to end up with at the end of the day. What will that event look like? Who's going to help me get there? And how are we going to share this content? So what we're covering tonight is all the different pieces and parts that help you get to that next content or that next great event. And the best way to start, and obviously we're going to talk a lot about World Polio Day because it's October 24th, and I hope all of you are going to have an event. So first things first, the best place for you to go is to the Resource Center. And we have made it super easy for you to do that. So hold your phone up, turn on the camera, and this will take you to the Resource Center where there is everything you could dream of and a lot more. And so take full advantage of that. It's on endpolio.org/resource-center if you want to do it the old-fashioned way. Now, once you get yourself to the Resource Center, you're going to see an explanation of everything polio. So everything from what is polio, why are we trying to end it, what are some of the difficulties with that process, how to have an event, how to register your event, which please make sure if you have an event that you register it. All kinds of news and information about the latest on polio, stories, and everything else. So obviously the goal for us is to make sure that we raise awareness, and there's every way to help you do that. So social media, social media information. Your My End Polio photo, following at End Polio Now on Facebook and Twitter. But one thing that we want to make sure that you know is that they encourage every single club to raise $1,500. And so we're going to give you all the tips and tricks to do that and make it super easy. So like I said, the first thing is to raise awareness, hold an event, register your event so that everyone knows about it. And we'll talk about all the different kinds of events you can have. And we're also going to talk about the Polio Plus Society. So that's the most easy way to raise that $1,500. And so you can ask anyone to join the Polio Plus Society, and it's a really cool thing. So to help you with your planning, like I said, the Resource Center has all of the information. It has social media, it has your toolkits, it has event materials, it even has coloring book pages for little kids if you've got an event where little kids are going to be there. It has banners and posters. You can just download all of the information. It has everything you've thought of and then some. But as you're looking through all of this content, there's some things you need to really keep in the front of your mind, which is making sure that you use great graphics, because great graphics grab attention. And who are we trying to get our message to? Is it our club members? Is it other people in the community? How are we going to share this information so that we take advantage of making sure that audience is reached? So there's tons of ways to get engagement and to bring fun to the event. And we're going to talk about all those different ways, but look at this graphic. It makes you want to look at it and figure out what's going on. What is everyone doing? And that's the cool thing that you want to think about when you're building graphics or when you're taking pictures is, does it tell a story? So this one really does a great job of telling the story. Obviously, they're putting food together and they've got everything there, and the volunteers are helping to do that. So you get a whole idea of what's going on without even being there. And that's what you want to do when you're telling a story. And then the next part is, how are you going to tell the story? How elaborate are you going to get in telling your story? So this one, they had a billboard, which is fantastic. That may not be what every single group can do. So maybe you're going to put something in your newsletter. Maybe you're going to put a bunch of stuff on your Facebook page. You never know all the different avenues that you can use until you kind of explore what's out there. But I thought this was super creative and wanted to make sure that we shared that with you guys so that you could get a sense of how big you can make all of this. And speaking of how big you can make something, how cool would it be if you worked with one of your local restaurants and figured out which night they're not so busy and asked if they would give a small percentage of their profits from that night to donate to polio? So this group did a Pints for Polio, and I've seen this with beer. I've also seen it with blood, giving blood. So there's all kinds of different ways that you can help. But I thought this was super creative. And the nice thing about doing an event like this at a restaurant is you're helping your restaurant. You're also giving your group a nice way to get together. And part of those proceeds are going back to polio. You can't go wrong with that one. And then you may have heard of Purple Pinky Day. So Dunkin' Donuts has done this, but I'm sure you could get any local donut shop to do it. Is basically create a purple pinky and then sell these boxes of donuts to your members, to your businesses. And then any extra money that you make above what the cost of the donuts are can go towards your polio efforts. So that's kind of a nice way to share this story about what polio is doing, talk about the polio story, the purple pinky, what that means, and then also raise some money. And here's a nice graphic that you can use to help spread the word if you did a Purple Pinky fundraiser. So this, again, the QR code takes them directly to the endpolio.org/donate. So everyone can go in there and make their donations, whether they're a Rotarian or not. And then for this next piece, you can see a ton of other ideas, and there's some great ones here. Look at what they did with the graphics. I mean, that is awesome. And everyone's wearing endpolio.org t-shirts, even while they're doing yoga. So that really makes a statement, and it helps spread awareness about polio, which is, of course, what we were trying to do for October 24th. And then you may have also heard about the world's greatest meal to help end polio. And what you do here is you go on to the worldsgreatestmeal.org and you register your event. So maybe you have a big dinner, and everyone who attends the dinner helps raise some money, and you just put that information into the World's Greatest Meal site and throw some pictures in there, and voila, you've got an awesome polio fundraiser. But if you can't all get together, you can also do something virtual. So we had some amazing speakers come and talk about polio, and they did it from thousands of miles away. And you can do that too. So if you don't have someone local who wants to talk about it, or you don't want to do an actual event, you can always Zoom in an awesome speaker. And if you need some ideas about who that can be, just ask your public image team, and we'll be glad to help you get some ideas. And speaking of ideas, check out this Facebook page. This is brand new. So it says, "Together we will end polio worldwide." And that QR code goes to, I'm sure you can guess, the endpolio.org/donate. So ask all of your club members to go on to Facebook and to the End Polio Worldwide Facebook page. And there they can also go in and donate. And if not, I mean, at least go in and like the page. But as you explore that page, you're going to see tons of great content. So make sure you check it out. That's not the only great page information we have to share with you about Facebook. We have the Polio Plus Society. So the Polio Plus Society, I promised to talk about, but essentially, and Sean can tell you some great stories about the Polio Plus Society, but essentially this is a way for you to ask your club members to give. We recommend $100. It could be more than that. Each year until we eradicate polio. And this is a way for you to point people to endpolio.org/donate, and they can go in and click polio and make a recurring gift and become a member of the Polio Plus Society. And there's a pin, and there's also a nice certificate that you can get. And so this Facebook group is right off the End Polio Worldwide. And so you'll be able to find it easily. And again, it talks about all the ways you can join the Polio Plus Society. But Sean, did you want to talk about that just a little bit? I know you've done some awesome things to help with polio.
Sure, thanks, Kim. So yeah, Polio Plus societies are great ways to encourage members who may not have otherwise known about or may not have otherwise been that incentivized to contribute towards the Polio Plus Fund of the Rotary Foundation. Similar to the Paul Harris Society, even though the Polio Plus societies are currently run by districts, but similar to the Paul Harris Society, it just incentivizes and encourages members to give on an annual basis to the Polio Plus Fund. In most cases, if not all, the minimum donation is $100 US per year, whether that's, in one singular donation or if it's broken up over, you know, 4 quarters of the year or on a monthly basis. Once the cumulative amount that you give to the Polio Plus Fund is at least $100 during the course of one Rotary year, you qualify for most Polio Plus societies. So, I mean, I just started one up in District 7030 back in April, and we got 8 people jumping on board right away who wanted to be members of the Polio Plus Society. Some of them were brand new. They've never donated to the Polio Plus Fund before. Some of them were veteran donors who were so glad that, you know, their regular donation would now be recognized because they would become members of this Polio Plus Society. And as Kim said, being a member, you get, you know, your own special Polio Plus Society pin, you get a Polio Plus Society certificate, and it just helps incentivize people to give every year towards ending polio now. So yeah, check your district foundation chair or your district Polio Plus chair to see if your district has a Polio Plus Society. Definitely go and visit the Polio Plus Society group on Facebook that Kim mentioned. If your district doesn't have a society and you're still interested in joining a Polio Plus Society, going through that Facebook group can help you. We can help you out, if anything.
Yeah. Great job, Sean. Thanks for sharing that information. Sean did an awesome job with his Polio Plus Society. And so talking about all the great ideas that we've had, one of the main things that you want to do to make sure that your event is awesome is to personalize it. Help them to understand, why should I attend? What am I going to get out of this? So talk about all the things that you're going to do, what your speakers are, who your speakers are, and just pique their interest and make sure that they know this is going to be fun. I really don't want to miss that. When you think about it like that, it makes sure that you don't miss sharing the right content. And so the way that we did this for Naples, we created the hashtag Naples Reunion, and we created a Facebook page, but you can do this stuff on your own club Facebook page and just put little tidbits out at a time and talk about your event as it's coming. So maybe every week you throw a little something out there. Hey, our speaker is going to be so-and-so, or you won't want to miss this. We're going to have a picture with all our new Polio Plus Society members, or maybe we're going to pass out End Polio Now stickers and hats to everyone who donates, or whatever it is that you guys decide to do. And so we threw a lot of stuff on our Facebook page, and it was a big hit. And we did a lot of really cool videos as well. So Sean, I know you can showcase some of these videos for us. Grabbed a lot of people's attention. And really, at the end of the day, that's what you want. You want them to look at it. You want them to ask questions, and you want them to get excited about what you're planning to do. So not just with video can you do that, but you can also create some really cute and funny pictures. So for us, we are going to be at Naples. So we did a lot of talking about the venue. And made sure people knew, hey, what else can I do when I'm not at my Rotary function and I've got a down hour or two to spend time with my family that came with me? And so we threw a few little funny things out there just to give people some idea of how beautiful the beach was and that their family could be out there enjoying that. So, you know, that was kind of amusing. And then things like this is one of my favorite pictures. I mean, here they were all dressed up in their Naples attire, and then they jumped in the fountain, which I don't think they got in trouble for, but it was fun and it hyped the event. And that's really what you're trying to do to get a lot of attention. And then we get to the nuts and bolts, right? So we talked about all the possible things that you can do, but there's some basic things, the fundamentals that we're going to cover. that help you to make sure that all the details are out there in the places that they need to be. So first you have to create your graphic that you're going to be sharing everywhere. You have to make sure that you put the information in the calendar on DACDB, that you have a registration email. Maybe you put a Facebook post out there. You've created the event. You've created the working group that's going to put the event together so that you can communicate details about meetings and all the information that you're pulling together. And then you're throwing it out there on your Facebook pages. You're putting it in your club newsletter. So announcements, so sharing the word with clubs around you in case they want to be part of it. So all the things that you need to make sure you check the box so that everyone knows and can find those details. Now, one of the things that I did in Canva was super easy. So I found the World Polio graphic on the left, and I said, okay, I definitely want to use that to share some information with my club. So how am I going to do that? I'm going to go in and create a Facebook post. So I uploaded this graphic into Canva, used the Facebook post template, and then I just went in and I clicked the backgrounds and found one that matched, which you can easily do. It gives you all kinds of choices to match that up. And then I just added text and I was done in 3 minutes. So, and look how awesome it looks. And it's going to be a great way for me to share the details with my club about what we're going to do. So obviously, now that I've got the graphic, the next step is to build a club committee and create a DACDB calendar event. So I know Sean is just as good with the DACDB stuff as I am. So Sean, do you want to talk about building a club committee?
Sure, no problems. So just to be just because we're all in Rotary and we all want to actually practice as well as preach diversity, equity, and inclusion, I'm going to just say that while this is specific to DACDB, for those districts and clubs that are not subscribed to DACDB, this can also apply in principle the same way in things like Club Runner or any other club management system that you're using, because most of them have similar features and for similar functions. So the first thing you're going to want to do, regardless of which step that you need to do, is you need to log in, right? So whether it's DACDB, whether it's Club Runner, whether it's one of the other club management platforms, pretty much you're always going to need to log in. So a lot of people don't remember that. They just think that it's something that they can jump onto right away and use. No, you need a profile, you need an account in order to access a lot of these features and functions, and more importantly, in order to access the member database that's contained within DACDB and Club Runner and stuff like that. So first and really important point, just make sure that you log on. If you don't have a DACDB account or you do not have a Club Runner account, I'm sure if you email your club that's managing DACDB or Club Runner, email your district, email even the zone support teams, at all levels, there's somebody who's going to be able to help create an account for you, get you logged on, and make sure that you have the access that you need. So as Kim said, the first step is to essentially create a committee. Now, whether it's creating a committee or any of the other functions we'll mention, one of the biggest things and one of your biggest friends in DACDB, and it's similar as well in Club Runner, is you need to really utilize this support and training feature or function. In DACDB, as you log on the homepage, you'll see these tabs. There's a support and training tab. That's your best friend. Click on that. In Club Runner has its own support link and page as well that you can easily find. But essentially, either one gives you access to a lot of the guidelines and instructions, and they're really good guidelines and instructions. They're clear, they're step-by-step, they're visual, it helps really, guide you through the process if you're unfamiliar with what to do in either DACDB or Club Runner or any of the other platforms. Once you've gone to the support and training tab, with regards to creating a committee, this will be, like if again, you're doing an event, you want to more or less have a team that's working with you, it just makes sense to create a club committee of that team, or even a district committee made up of the members of that team, whether it's for communication purposes, whether it's to make sure that you can share responsibilities properly, whether it's even to let everybody else know who's on the team, who's on the committee, so that they can contact, it's not just one person that can be contacted. Several people can be contacted sometimes with regards to an event. So you're going to click on this committee folder in the support and training options, and your next step is to add a committee. And it pretty much guides you through everything visually and with clear instructions on how to go ahead and add or create a committee. If you already have a committee, there's another function how to edit it. Again, these support and training modules, they're your best friend. They help get you through the unknown. They help get you through the unfamiliar. And these are the things that really take you from being, a novice on a particular platform to, somebody who eventually could become an expert in it and help train others and help show others what to do. So it's really simple. We ourselves would refer to this a lot of times when we're doing DACDB stuff, because there's just so many things you have to remember. You can't remember it all. So these modules and these support and training tools really, really help a lot. So again, your best friend. I'll hand back over to Kim, who's going to show you a little bit on how to go about setting up an event in DACDB.
Thanks, Sean. So as he said, you're going to go back to your support and training tab, and you can look on the left and you can see there are all of the choices for you. So obviously we're going to the calendar events and meetings, and we're going to go ahead and select an event. So for most of us, we're going to be adding a club event, and it tells you step by step exactly how to add the club event. And it might be a district event, so whichever it is, but all you have to do is print that out. It's just a handful of pages, and then follow the guidelines step by step. You cannot get it wrong. I'm telling you honestly. And the nice thing about it is that you will soon be able to have your event up there on the DACDB calendar. And so anyone who's in DACDB can get that information. All your club members can be sent that information. And all you have to do is follow those guidelines and then select send. And you're done. So just wanted to make sure that we gave you the information about where you can go to do all of these things and a host of other things as well, and how to do it. So if you've never done it, don't be scared. Just jump in, print it out, and off you go.
Sorry, Kim, just to jump in with one other little tidbit. As Kim said, you can create your event in DACDB or in Club Runner. And, once you've created it, most of the times, it's a pretty standard way of creating an event, right? You have to put a date in, you have to put times in, you can put descriptive information and additional graphics and flyers in. Once you've done all of that, the next step, or the next logical step in promoting that event, is sending out an event invite. And since you already have all the information about the event stored in that event on DACDB or on Club Runner, sending an event invite just takes all of that information and compiles it properly and automatically puts it in an email to send out to people. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to rewrite anything if you send an event invite. What's also really good about event invites is it kind of comes with an add to calendar function built into it, unlike if you send a regular plain old email. So just a reminder, if you create an event, it populates the calendar, whether it's, you know, your club calendar or your district calendar. But the second thing you really want to do to get the word out is to send out event invites so that people know about the event. And, you know, you don't have to wait for them to come to your website to find the event. You can just let them know about it. So it's a difference. It's kind of a push notification more than anything else.
Good point, Sean. Thank you. And that handy dandy little graphic you created, you can throw into this too. So you would just upload that. And it's as easy as pressing upload. So next step, so social wall. One of the great ways to get people involved is just to give them all the information and news about your event. So we created a social wall, and that was all the user-generated content. So we told them if they did hashtag Naples Reunion on the Facebook page, that would pull all of that info. And so you can see in this next slide some of the information that happened because we did that, and all of the back end part. And on the next piece, you can see some of the things that people uploaded to our hashtag Naples Reunion. And I think the cost to have a social wall was something like $125 or $250. It wasn't that much, but if you're having a big blowout event, I mean, there's nothing better than making sure that everyone's sharing their stories and getting engaged, and everyone was glued to this. So it was a lot of fun, and it was definitely really took us over the top. So Marshall's a master at things like this, and it definitely made a difference. And you see these great pictures, and you go back and you remember it, and you just enjoy the time that you had with all your Rotary friends. So talking about the joy that you're having with your Rotary friends, we want to make it fun. So we want them to say, do you remember when at the Naples Reunion? This was a funny picture we just had to throw in there. After our event, it was there was a wig left over. So we didn't quite know what to do with it, but you know, just funny stuff. And everyone was like, is that your wig? So it created a lot of buzz, a lot of interest. And so, you know, any event that you're looking at on Facebook, you can go ahead and rip off and duplicate and learn from others some great ideas. And speaking about some great ideas.
See, that gets way more traction on social media. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Marshall.
I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric wavy when I turn it on. Off to my city, off to my home. We're flying up, no ceiling when we in our zone. I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off it, moving so phenomenally. On like the way we rock it, so don't stop. And under the lights when everything goes.
So the background on that is she was meeting with a bunch of our team, you know, our new district governors. And so you can see some of them at the tail end of the meeting. And then slide after that, I think it is. There you go. And she just jumped in once the music started going, and everyone got up on their feet and started dancing along and talking, and it was just a really great time. So it's those moments that really make it memorable. And you can see some more memorable moments and possibly some great content for discussions after with some of these pictures. So that was a lot of fun when we had our theme night, and you can see everyone and probably a few more wigs. the whole room was dancing and waving their hands back and forth. It was awesome. So this is, like I say, this is the stuff that make it fun and that people talk about later. And speaking about talking about later, the Great Karnak. So the Great Karnak, I think, is now going to be at everything. So we talked a lot about different Rotary things, and the Great Karnak, of course, knew all the answers, and it was really funny and just a really nice way to share some good content. And speaking about good content, we had some very impressive RI people who attended. You see Paul Harris was there, and Larry Lunsford. And so we just had to make sure that you knew how awesome this event was, that we had such esteemed people attending. And I think Paul Harris had the most fun. I swear to you, he was everywhere. And there were pictures of him with everybody. So last but not least, of course, we're having all this fun, but we want to make sure that we give credit to our sponsors and provide value to our sponsors, and up the ante so that they feel like the money that they gave to be a sponsor is really worth it. So we had created these nice little signs and took them around to all of the vendors and to everyone throughout the entire event. And they held up the sign, which reinforced our social wall, #NaplesReunion. And then, as you can see, they were all having a good time sharing that as well. And we made sure we spotlighted them so that all got a little extra something. And speaking of a little extra something, once the dust settles, you want to make sure that you send a thank you out to your people who attended the event, people who helped make the event happen, the sponsors who are part of the event. And there's always that dreaded check photo with everyone standing holding the big check. Make it fun. Check out what this guy did with his check. So you wanted to turn your head and look at it and see, what was that about? How much money was that? And you wanted to ask questions. So that's what you always want to do with every piece of information that you share. And this just gives you a little bit of fun about doing that. And speaking of fun, we had a great time. So we were meal packing for hours, and everyone got really good at it. And you can see what a good time we had and how efficient everybody was. And we packed tons and tons of meal and did a lot of good work. So sharing that told everyone, hey, it wasn't just Rotary meetings, we also did some good. And so that's a nice picture to talk about and share. And also, of course, reminding them after the event what all we did. And we had to tease Marshall because he was like a blur. He was so busy throughout the entire event. So we were joking about how it looked before and after. And so that was pretty funny, made us laugh. Just so that we don't forget, the whole reason that we're here today is to make sure that we do a stellar World Polio Day event. So go in to endpolio.org. You can find all kinds of World Polio Day information on elevaterotary.org, and fill out your citation task so that we will know what it is that you are plotting and planning for October 24th. And if you can't do it on October 24th, that's totally fine. Plan something in October, plan something the week of World Polio Day, whenever your club meeting falls. Do something online, do something after hours, throw some information into your newsletter. So whatever you do, just make sure you splash it out there, put it on your Facebook page, and then go in and throw it into your citation so that we know what you did, and we can highlight and share your idea with others so they can do what? rip off and duplicate. So we continue to have a great time. All right. And now we're to the nuts and bolts of Sean. Can I talk about this one?
Yep. So just to give everybody a quick heads up, our next webinar, which is going to be on October 24th, is another great one that's going to be how the heck do you do that? And anybody that has come to our previous webinars in prior years know that we try to do at least one or two of these every year because there are always people who are asking pretty much how the heck did you do that? So that one's going to focus a little bit more on you know, some technical aspects of how the PI team and how the zone does stuff, whether it's online or whether it's, you know, AV related, social media as well. So definitely you don't want to miss that one on October 24th, 6 p.m. as always. And again, it's going to really focus a lot more on production aspects, you know, how to do things on Zoom, how to make sure that you know, after you promoted your good event, how do you make sure that it runs well? How do you make sure that, you know, everybody who's going to be speaking and participating, that they put on a really good show for everybody that's coming? As well as, you know, things like what do you do afterwards in terms of your follow-ups? As Kim mentioned, it's always important to follow up. And one of the things that a lot of us have grown accustomed to is that one of the key follow-up products is always going to be a recording, you know, so it's going to be like, you know, making sure that you get your recordings out quickly, making sure that if you need to edit your recordings, you know, quick and really easy ways to go about doing that don't require a lot of expertise or anything. So definitely don't miss how the heck do you do that, October 24th, 6 p.m.
Thanks, Sean. And that next slide. So if you aren't on elevaterotary.org already, and you want to get our Zone 34 PI emails, which give you all of this cool stuff and take you to all of our awesome content, link you to the Brand Center and to all of our past webinars, and just a host of really good content for you to wade through, go ahead and text and then hit send, and then you'll start getting our PI emails. It's super easy. So, who can help you? Obviously, we want to make sure that if you have questions, that you know who to reach out to. So this is our team, and we've got our phone numbers out there for you. We've got the districts that we support, and we've got our email. So you can go ahead and snap a picture of this. And if you don't already know who's your go-to PI person, this will tell you. And then just shoot us an email or reach out with a text, however, and we will make sure that we help you and guide you and direct you to answer all of your questions, because it's our job to help you do what you do. And that's why we do these webinars.
Sorry, Kim, I'm just going to go back one to the text slide. There are a few people who are asking for the number again. I'll also put it in the chat box for everybody. But just so that you know, once you text that number, it'll ask you a question. You just reply, you follow the instructions, and it will automatically add you, as Kim said, to our Zone 34 public image email list. So you can stay informed about everything that we're doing, all the announcements that we put out, all the updates that we put out, whether it's with regard to webinars or whether it's with regards to, you know, PI and brand updates. But yeah, feel free, text that number. It'll add you automatically to our PI email list.
Thanks, Sean. Good call. And take a picture of that if you want, if you haven't already hit send. So the main thing that I'd like to recap on all of this is use all of the resources that you have. Join the Zone 34 Facebook Zone 33, 34 Facebook page, because we are always throwing content out there about things that are going on, the events that are out there. You can join and be part of. Go into elevaterotary.org. You can see all of our content, past webinars, things that are coming up. And then, of course, the polio stuff. So endpolio.org/donate. I mean, that's an awesome way for everyone to go in. I mean, if you have 15 club members join the Polio Plus Society, you've made your $1,500. So that's pretty incredible. And not only that, but making sure you go to the Facebook page for End Polio Worldwide, for the Polio Plus Society, and you can see all of the news updates because we put it out there as fast as we can find it. So you'll always be in the know about things. And then, of course, you know, all of our zone team, so that we can help you ensure that you have all of the tools that you need and can make it happen. So I'm sure Sean has found some questions in the chat box. So Sean, do you want to help us answer a few of those questions? Because we waded through a ton of content super, super fast. So let's see if we can answer those questions for you.
Sure. So in no particular order, the first one is from Sue, and Sue is asking if the red drop End Polio Now graphic is available to use. I'm guessing it's the one with 2 red drops.
Oh, I think I created that. Which slide was that? Do you remember?
Momentito.
Oh, the End Polio Worldwide?
Probably that one, yeah.
Yeah, so if you go to Facebook, to End Polio Worldwide, you can probably right click on that and save it. If not, just shoot me a text and I will send it to you.
I think, and Sue, just so you know, that there are a couple other graphics that use that polio 2 drop kind of image a little bit. If you're asking, Sue, if there's an official one with 2 drops out there, like from either the brand center or from endpolio.org, I'm going to say no, we have not seen that available there. More than likely, that was something that was created specifically, you know, for something that RI did, and everybody just started using it over and over again. I don't think it was ever really made shareable to the public, but everybody's been using it for quite a while. So, I mean, feel free, if you find one that works for you, R&D it. You know, just make sure, like everything else, when we talk about R&D, make sure you guys remember there are certain brand standards that you still have to meet, and make sure that, you know, when you do use a graphic that somebody else created, that you follow the brand guidelines with regards to when you R&D it. The other question we got here is, let's see, when you add an event to the calendar, can you also add a way for attendees to pay a registration fee?
You know, that's a really good question, and I don't think that I've charged on DACDB, but I believe there is a way for you to host an event and charge. So, Sean, if you can make sure and get her information, we can do a little...
Unfortunately, they posted it anonymously, but I will concur with what you said. When you do something in DACDB, as well as Club Runner and a couple of the other platforms, there is a way to attach a registration fee to it. Obviously, a lot of the times that DACDB is going to be used, particularly by like the zone or by the districts, it'll be for like maybe online events, and they're not charging anything. That's why you'll never really see a fee a lot of the times, but there definitely is a part of or feature in DACDB's event creation that will allow you to set up a registration fee. If you want to use the ACDB to collect registration fees for your event. All right, let's see here. Is it wise to set the next webinar for World Polio Day, given that we are encouraging everyone to do a World Polio Day event?
So that's a good point. And this is the day that we always do our webinars. And so we've had a lot of people who have set that aside on their calendars. So we are having the event that day, and it may be that we share more information about what people have done. But obviously, if you are hosting an event on that day, then we want you to host your event on that day and just go ahead and register for our webinar, and you won't miss the content because we'll send you the information about what we covered. Good question.
It is. I knew a lot of people were probably asking that, so I said, let me just take care of it one time. Okay, we got a couple that were in the chat box. So Marianne was asking about providing more information on social walls, where to go, where do you find stuff. So Marianne, there are a lot of applications that specifically deal with social walls. I'm actually going to put one in the chat box that you can go and take a look at, which is actually the one that was used by the zone for the Naples event. There are others out there though, and you know what I would suggest is just shop around, look around and see what else you find. Some are a little bit more expensive than others. Some may do what you want to do exactly. Some may do a little bit more, a little bit less. But social walls are great, as Kim said, especially at an event itself. If you have a social wall up on a big screen, it definitely draws a crowd in, and it definitely has people wanting to actually use the hashtag and post, because they're going to see their picture and their post up on the big screen, you know, rotating over and over again. Sorry, the other question here was, do we need to send this from Shanley? Do we need to send graphics or photos for review or approval before sending out, and or to be added to the library of graphics for future use? I'll let you take that one, Kim.
So if I heard you right, you were asking about, do you need to send it to us to make sure you haven't missed any branding boo-boos, right? You're welcome to do that. So Sean can put our zone team up on the screen so that you know who you would send that to. You are not required to do that. We are just here to help. And if you have some questions, or if you're not sure, you know, is this okay? Or did I use the right font? Or is, you know, is the logo squished? Or did I use the right color for the logo and the master brand? You know, so all those things. We are very happy to look that over and provide pointers. For the most part, if you have a question, usually there's a reason. And so it's always great to ask before you throw it out there into the world with boo-boos. So thank you for that question. Awesome. Because then we see people throwing it out there on social media and everyone's like, ooh, check this out, and they share it. And so then all this brand stuff that's not right gets shared, and you know, we're all just going, no. So that's the life of a PI person. But so thank you for asking first, and let us know. We'd be happy to help you.
And I'm sure too, just to augment what Kim said, you know, district PI chairs are also very willing to help as well.
Yes.
You know, and you know, there's always, some clubs may not have a PI chair per se, but pretty much every district has a PI chair, and yep, he or she is there to assist clubs and assist members just as much as we are at the zone level. So make sure and you know, loop in your PI chair. If you don't know who they are, I'm sure you can find out relatively easily, and you know, they can provide a good bit of resources and be a good resource for you as well. I got one question there. It's actually a pretty cool question. This one is from Anu. The resurgence of the polio virus in the US 35 days ago worries me. What can the PI teams do to create awareness on this resurgence and the need to curb or prevent the spread?
So that's a very good question. And, you know, I think just by hosting World Polio Day events, by going on to endpolio.org and being informed about, you know, what's going on and how that happened, going to our Facebook pages, we covered a lot of that information. So you can really get educated about it and how they were able to tell how it spread. But for the most part, the biggest thing that you can do is just build awareness, have those end polio events, talk about it, share it, throw it out there on social media, follow our zone page, follow the End Polio Worldwide page, follow the Polio Plus Society, and you'll see as things pop up out there, you can share them to your club's Facebook page. And then by that, you're keeping your club informed about what's going on, because most people are like, it's in New York? What? You know, and they can learn more about that and how that happened. And it's a great read. There's plenty of information for you to share. And it's definitely an easy way for you to get that awareness out there. So thanks for that question.
Kim, if you don't mind, I'll actually, so we have Michael Wallstrom on, who's also one of our assistant Rotary Public Image coordinators. And Michael has some really great polio stories. And I'm just gonna put him on the spot and ask him to share one of them quickly, just as a demonstration of how you really spread the word on ending polio and getting awareness out there.
Well, I just came back from a Rotary NID in India, and you know, while I was there, I posted, you know, fairly heavily about the trip and what we were doing, a combination of you know, still photographs as well as video. I posted those on my personal page, on my district's page, on my club's page, on the Zone 33-34 page, and I tried to vary the content between the different pages so it wasn't the same thing everywhere. And then I also posted a bunch of stuff on my Instagram, again, completely different content, hoping that I would, you know, get people, you know, following different parts of the story in different places. I think that's one of the things I notice when I follow certain pages is that people, it's very convenient to use a post on Instagram that automatically posts to Facebook. But then if you're friends with people in both places, you just tend to see duplicate content, and it's boring, right? You gloss over it because you're like, I already saw that. So if you really want to engage people, it can be helpful to try to develop you know, some content for your 2 or 3 different platforms that's different. It's a little more time consuming, but not a lot more. The Rotary NID was fantastic, and I certainly welcome anyone to check it out if you get the opportunity. It is a once in a lifetime trip. Well, I can't say that. There were 2 ladies that were on their second one with me, so for them it was a twice in a lifetime experience. But for me, most likely a once in a lifetime experience. But certainly well worth the time and effort to go. Did I cover everything, Sean? You want me to? Did I miss anything?
No, you got it, Michael. And again, I think, you know, Michael demonstrates something really key here, right? And it's something we hear a lot of, not just about polio, but in Rotary in general, which is about storytelling. That's the way we get information out there, is we tell stories. You know, so Michael has that was just one of his many stories about polio. I have a few, Kim has a few, you know, and we each have something to tell. And even if we don't, even if we it's the first time we're getting involved, there's so much stuff that we can grab from online, from endpolio.org, from Facebook, from whatever, just to help us tell a story. Even if it's not necessarily your story, you can tell a story about polio. And that's really how you help build awareness among people. You know, just the fact that, again, after so many years, polio popped up and reared its head in New York. That's something, timeliness is something elemental, and, you want to get your stories out now, so because it's so relevant. And, equally so, it's not just about the bad things, but also the good things. So, in as much as polio cases popped up in New York a month ago, we had a good story come out about polio this past weekend, with Jennifer Jones announcing that Rotary is committing another $150 million to end polio. So again, these are the things that will motivate and inspire not just Rotarians, but people in general to jump on the bandwagon, contribute to endpolio.org, towards the Polio Plus Fund, to help spread the word. To me, and I could be wrong, but, word of mouth and storytelling are still the best ways to get the message out there, because it's about relationships. And one thing that we always should strive for is, building and keeping good relationships. So we're pretty much on time. I'm going to give Kim 1 minute to kind of do a 1 minute summary if she wants, to kind of cover everything we touched on today, and close us off.
Thanks, Sean, and great coverage of that last story. We should probably lead with that. That was incredible news. You can see all of that information and video on our Facebook pages that we talked about, End Polio Worldwide and the Polio Plus Society. So make sure you go there and spend some time. But as a recap, we want to make sure that everyone does a great job with whatever PI event they're doing, even if it's just putting something in your newsletter and having a good club meeting. So any way that you want to share this content, making sure you use all the tools at your resources, putting it on the DACDB calendar, creating your group, working with your group, and just getting a lot of awareness out there for what we're trying to do. Rotary is the most amazing group, and we are making a difference in the world, and you are making a difference in the world. And these are some of the ways that we make a difference in the world. So thank you so very much for joining us tonight, for sharing your time with us, and for sharing your talent with our community, with our Rotary members, and for helping us all support the world and do good things. So with all of that, we've enjoyed having you. Don't hesitate to reach out to your district PI chairs and to us. And don't forget, go ahead and text us, go ahead and watch our Facebook pages, and we'll see you on October 24th. Have a great night.